Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Saturday live stream. So today, the title and thumbnail suggests, we got to be prepared for what's about to happen. Now, not everything mimics perfectly what happened in the past, but I know that pullbacks are going to happen. I know that there could be some massive pullbacks, 20, 30, 40%, as we've seen historically. So I just want this to be a refresher so people don't flip out. Now, I know that a lot of you in the chats that I can see, it's the usual suspects, which I do appreciate. I know you guys have been here for a long time and it's not a big deal, but I think it's best to steel ourselves, to steel our spines for what we are about to see so we don't get shaken out at just the most ridiculous of times, which I think right now, and like we talked about last week, you got pretty much 4 months to just crush it. So let's just get into this. So first of all, before we get into it, I'm going to give away a book. And this is Roger Ver's book. You don't know who Roger Ver is? When I got into crypto back in 2017, if you were in crypto in 2016, 15, 14, 13, 2012, you know Roger Ver. He was essentially Bitcoin Jesus. He went around everywhere and talked about how great Bitcoin was. Good guy. And then, of course, he had his thoughts and theories about what Bitcoin shouldn't be. And he threw his weight behind Bitcoin Cash and a couple of the different projects, which I got to tell you, as time goes on, even, all of our stances change. But his whole relevance and what he was talking about as far as Bitcoin has never faltered. And this is a great book. I read it, PDF version for download on Amazon. Very good, very interesting. And I think it's great to get details from all sides. I'm going to give this book away today. And one of the reasons is because I need your help. Right now, Roger Ver is sitting, I believe it's a small place outside of Spain where he's being essentially held because the United States government is saying that he is guilty of tax evasion, or he is under investigation for tax evasion, even though he's said multiple times, and he's gone on these different talks with let's see, Charlie Kirk, a couple of, Tucker Carlson, which was the one that I watched, and pretty much just said look, this is my timeline. I did everything I was supposed to do. Now, all of a sudden, I put this book out where I pretty much exposed parts of the government and where they were faulty. And now all of a sudden I'm being investigated for 109 years in jail. Doesn't make any sense. So if you would be so kind, there is a couple of things I'd like you to do. There's a link in the description. And it's going to stay there until this petition gets 20,000 signatures. We're already at 14,000. First name, last name, email, city, all that stuff. And just say why you think he should not be incarcerated or actually stand trial for this. And this site goes over everything as far as the timeline, the videos, the store, and all that great stuff. What I need you to do is in Twitter, and I linked this in the description as well, I just need you to sign the petition, like, comment, and repost. And I'm going to start drawing winners today, actually, as we get into the Q&A. So that is the Roger Ver, free Roger Ver, and go from there. So that's what we have for that one. Let's break into the pullbacks. So you're going to see a lot of this. This is from 2016, 2017. And as time goes on, people say, Bitcoin's not really that volatile. Oh, really? Talk to my brother who only invests in Visa and these tired equities, and he's bragging to me about his 10% return. I almost fell asleep, but this is essentially what was going on in 2016, 2017. The pullbacks from 2016, which was the halving year, into 2017 were massive. I mean, people say, you were just lucky you got into Bitcoin at the right time. Look, it's not luck, as everybody in this chat knows. If you've been around for any length of time and you've gone through the bear market, it wasn't luck. It was essentially you being stubborn as hell and not selling, and now you get to reap the rewards. So again, this is just a refresher. So look at this. 2017, we had, 33, 38, 36, and 29% drawbacks or drawdowns until we got to the top of December 15, 16, 17 of 2017, when we hit almost 20,000, just to get from, roughly 1,000 up to here. It was a good 20x, but you had to go through a lot of pain. And what's happening right now is we can just take a look that, we've had some sideways action. We've been bobbling around the 100,000 range. Traders do what traders do. And we've got leverage plays all soaking it up and getting liquidated and actually making some fat gains. That's great. But at some point, we're going to see something like this. This is a graph going all the way back into not 2017, but from October 2020 to roughly February 2021, which is kind of like where we're at right now, right? Today is December 14th. And I think that 2025 is we're gonna nail it, because that is our all-time high year right after the halving. This was the last halving. And you look at this, you're like, what's the problem, Rob? This looks awesome. I don't see an issue with this. Put your mindset back to that time frame. We had just gotten through this thing called a coronavirus. I don't know if you heard about it. It was a big thing. And we were just worried about the economic factors that were happening. Of course, this was in 2020. Now we're going into 2021. But look at this. December 14th, we were at 19,259. So think about that. In 2017, we hadn't even gotten to the all-time high for the last cycle at this point. Now, here we are, and we're 100,000, which the last cycle top was around 67K. So if we take a look at this, I mean, we're ahead of the game as it stands right now. But as we go into January, I think the same thing's going to happen. We're going to get a lot of over-exuberance. Feds are, now I can't remember if Feds actually cut rate at this point, or they were raising rates, or they were stagnant. But I know that the economy was doing relatively decent, especially because the money printing. Oh yeah, that's going to keep happening. But we can see here, even with the money printing, Bitcoin rose to, I mean, from 23,000. Let me go all the way back. Yeah, 19,259. All the way up to 40,000. Sounds like someone we just went through, right? Blasted through all-time highs. Everybody's saying it's never going to drop down. Diamond hands, bro. It's going to keep going up forever. Now put yourself in this mindset. Everybody's happy, and they're like, great, this is the year. And then all of a sudden, we get this price point from 40,000, and we drop down to 33. So, I mean, you're looking at, what is that, 18% almost, maybe 20%. I mean, just we'll round up a little bit. From here to here is a pretty big drop. And tell me in the comment section if you've kind of seen this happening on Twitter, on different YouTube channels, on different social medias, where they say, yeah, that's it. I mean, that could have been pretty much the top, and then we go down. And that was only like from 104,000 to what, 96, 95? So not even that same price point. And people are already kind of thinking to themselves, maybe this is it. Some people have sold, some people were worried, da-da-da-da-da. But here we are. Now, take 40,000, and we go on here. And then, of course, we climb back up to 39. Let's just say 40 again. And then what happens down here? So now we're down from roughly 40,000 to 30,000. What is that, 25%? 26, 27%, somewhere around there. That's quite a bit of a drop, right? So again, put your mind frame back then to what it is. So where do you think we could drop moving forward? Because as we go into this 2025 year, if we had let's just say like a 30% drop, 30%. So roughly going to 70K. Would everybody be okay with that? Would you be happy about it? Would you think to yourself, this is a good time to buy? Me personally, I think I would be like, this is the greatest gift I can possibly get to go back down to 70K. So I just see this as essentially opportunities, but I wanted to warn everybody, because when this does happen, you have to think to yourself this: what has fundamentally shifted? Was there a double spend? Was there this magical quantum computing, which keeps going on forever, and how it's and this is going to crack Bitcoin? It's just going to be awful. Is World War III right around the corner? Is it again another macroeconomist calling for some massive recession, or is it just traders doing trading things, humans doing human things, and just buying things, using leverage, getting liquidated, and people just speculating? To me, I think that's pretty much what it is, and people taking profit. So like with this one, it's not about FUD or being negative. I think we need to talk about these things before they actually happen, so you can do the best things for you and your family as far as investing, instead of just going, oh, shoot, what is this? Oh, a pullback? I know they're here, but no one's really been talking about that. Everybody's been talking about all this moon boy stuff and how Donald Trump's not going to tax anything and this Bitcoin strategic reserve. And then we're going to start to get this in nation states, and it's going to be in the balance sheets of every institution and pension funds and blah, blah. I'm just here to give you another side of the reality. So we have that piece, and it looks like it could happen. But here's another thing to consider. But Rob, that doesn't make any sense, because historically speaking, January is a pretty great month for Bitcoin. And you're absolutely right. If you look at the Bitcoin monthly returns from 2024 back to 2011, it's pretty good. January is pretty good. One of the reasons is if you have to do some kind of selling to pay your taxes, for next year, usually you do that around December or so. And that's, of course, if you have some losses and you want to lock in that tax loss harvesting. I don't think anybody's got losses this year. I think you did pretty well. But some people actually have to sell a little bit to pay off taxes. Great. So maybe that happens in December. But in January, everything resets. You're in the whole new year. There's a whole new paradigm. Everybody's happy. Look in 2024. So far, 2024 is 0.89%. How's that for 2023? As there was rumors of an ETF. Let's go back to 2021, which is what we're looking at. For January, that month was 14% positive. Well, that doesn't make any sense. You were just talking about 20% drawdowns and 25 and 30% drawdowns. How is that? I'll tell you how that is because people start to focus narrowly on big drawdowns and don't see the big picture. Take a look at this. If we go back to January 1st, the price is 29,000. What is it at the end of the month? 33,000. It's actually up. So you go through all these big, humongous drawdowns because of all these massive peaks, and people go, that's it. 30%, I'm out of here. Loser token. And they just kind of miss it. So yeah, even as bad as we saw it in 2020 or 2021, that was 14%. 2020, the halving year was 30%. 19, 18, not so good. 2017, 0.8. And then you can just see looking pretty good. And then if you take a look at the last all-time high year, January, February, and March are all green months. What about 2017? January, February, a little bit of a drawdown in March, but look at this: April, May, June, July, August. September, always historically bad. October, November, December, pretty good. 2021, what happened? You had 3 great months, and then April, we topped out. That was our first top. And then we had some slumps in May and June. Then we had a little bit of a peak. September is always a crappy month. October, and then what happens in November? Even though it's red right here for the monthly returns, it was still the all-time high for the cycle. So keep that in mind as we go through this. When there are dips in a bear market, sometimes it's not the greatest idea to keep buying. I'm guilty of that. But when you're in the bull market and you see some massive dips, sometimes it's a pretty good idea to buy those dips because things will start going higher, which I got to tell you, back here, I was buying. Actually, no, I can't say I was buying every single dip, but I didn't do too bad. So that's what we have for the monthly. And then also, if we take a look right now, well, Rob, what about, is this a good time to sell? I can't answer that for you, but I can take a look at some metrics. This is from Ben's site. The CRYPTOVERSE, links in the description, 10% off the first month. You want to check it out. And we can just see that what I like about this one is the summary dashboard. It takes all these great metrics like Bitcoin risk, total market cap risk, logarithm regression, multiple MVRVZ score for on-chain metrics, and socials, which is like YouTube views and Twitter views and all that great stuff. We're going to see that as far as the summary, we're not close to being hyped out yet. But if we take a look back in the last cycle, again, well, that's not right. 14th November, roughly, we can see that we were heavily overheated, right? Price, on-chain metrics, and social. 2017, way high. 2013, well, the social metrics didn't really exist back then. we didn't have as much YouTube and Twitter nonsense as we do right now. But price and on-chain, yes. But right now, it's not there yet, but it's coming. And the last thing I'll say this before we get into a little, well, I got to get into a little Solana versus Ethereum in a second. But this right here is the Bitcoin market cycle bottom return on investment. So I just want to show you where we're at again, in case we forget. Let me take a look. Let's see. Let me take out market cycle 1, market cycle 2. Just so you know, the last bottom for this cycle was on November 10th, 2022. You know where we're at? We're still right in between the 2017 cycle and the 2021 cycle. So I still think that we have a pretty good range to go. And look what we did on the last one. Wow, look at that. Essentially, we did a 16 and a 17x. Well, I'll take that for here if we can keep going. But then one more. One thing that I did take a look at was this. This is the return on investment after the halving. Remember, our halving was April 20th, 2024. And the ROI compared to cycle 2, which is 2017 and 2021, look where we're at right now. Since the halving, which was April, we're actually below both of these. And I think it's because, I don't think it's because it is, because after that Bitcoin ETF popped off, which was, roughly in, what was that, January? I mean, we went straight up. And I think we broke all-time highs, February, March, correct me in the comment section. So then in April, when we had our Bitcoin halving, the ROI wasn't as much because we've already went so high. But even if we could go somewhere around this level to their top off, again, a 4x to a 6x, I'll take a 5x from here. God, that'd be weird. Yeah, 5x from here would be like $500,000. I don't know if that can happen. Depends on the strategic reserve stuff. But I tell you, I take a look at this and I see some pretty good things coming up for the future. Anyhow, let me know what you think about that in the comment section. Just want to get everybody mentally prepared from there. And then lastly, before we do a little Q&A, I just want to bring this up about on-chain data, which is great stuff. Nothing wrong with it. Solana put this out. It says, breaking, Electric Capital's developer report shows Solana is the #1 ecosystem for new developers in 2024. This marks the first time any ecosystem has surpassed Ethereum for new devs since 2016. 7625 new devs built on Solana this year. So before I talk about this, just let me make sure everybody's aware. I own a good amount of Ethereum, and I own a good amount of Solana. So I don't really care which one wins. I don't really care which one is the fastest horse. I don't care. I just want one of them to work and want them to blow up. Is that reasonable? So what I'm going to talk about, don't say, Rob's a Solana maxi or Rob's an Ethereum maxi. I own them both. I don't really care which one wins. So with this one, I said, hey, that's great, that you can tout that, but I want everybody to be aware that when you're talking about on-chain data, you can parse data any way you want to. And you can make, if you just really look at a certain specific action, you can say, this is good for us, which it is. It's fantastic. But just remember that Ethereum still is out there. I still think it can do pretty well. There are a lot of the institutions are betting on it because it's been battle tested, even though God knows that it's not the most fastest layer 1 solution and definitely not the cheapest. And I said, hey, it can be whatever you want it to be. Just focus on the certain areas. And in the report, which we're going to get to, actually, I don't need this. This is the website. I linked this in the description. And it's developer report. That's it. Developer report. I got pretty nice website, actually. It just shows you like all the developer utility on chain. And this is not just developers, this is all blockchain developers. Pretty cool. And if you just scroll down here, it'll tell you the top ecosystem monthly active developers. EVM, #1. It's got full-time devs, 3,500. Ethereum, 2,181. Solana virtual stack, 599. Solana, 582. So yes, it's growing. Yes, it's doing great. Yes, it's fast. Yes, it's cheap, but it's not the biggest yet. Just saying. full-time developers, you will notice, and of course, people say, well, Rob, what about this? You're right. They're down 8% and 10% over a year. Does that mean that, and of course, this is Solana's numbers, 14 to 15 growing. So does this mean they'll overtake them? Yeah, we'll see. But it is just interesting, like how this information works and how it comes through. And again, in the report, Solana is growing, but 1 in 3 crypto developers work on multiple chains. 1 in 3. Ethereum is the #1 ecosystem for total developer activity. Solana, though, is the #1 ecosystem for new developers in 2024. Grew 83% year over year. That's big. And Base is responsible for 42% of the new code being written in the Ethereum ecosystem. I got to tell you, if Base wasn't around, making things faster, cheaper, easier, Ethereum might have a harder time. I know people say, well, what about Arbitrum and Polygon? I'm not saying that's what it is. I'm just telling you, these are the facts. So when you see on-chain data, just be aware that you can parse that stuff any way you want to. And there's a great website that you can do that, and you can do your own research. That's it for today. So look, if you like today's video, give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing. Everything we talk about, especially moving into these next 3-4 months or so, it's going to be time sensitive because there's a lot of things I want to do. I want to start getting a little bit more into a little more riskier stuff. And I'll still talk about Bitcoin and everything else, but I think right now is the time, and I've been doing this for a while now, but I want to bring you into my side of what I think could do pretty well. And we'll talk about that tomorrow. Actually, it's going to more of a little bit of a gambling, not a gambling, it's a more risky place. One of those, I want to talk about my friend Bobby and his bet on the Ethereum all-time high in 2024 bet, the Fed decision December bet, and of course, will Trump create Bitcoin in the first 100 days? Then I want to talk about AI agents. This one is from distilled.ai. I just want to do this live with you and see how this works because I don't know. And I thought it'd just be interesting to do this. This actually runs on Solana. And then also, I want to show you this thing called Moonwalk, which New Year's is coming up. And this is a how do I describe this? This is a pool of people pooling their Solana, and you set a goal with your friends, with your group, whoever that group is. If you miss that goal, you pay in Solana. It's an accountability app. That's what it is. And I just thought it was interesting, and it's actually based on Solana Bonk, which I also own a big bag of. So we'll talk about that tomorrow, but that's it for today. Now, if you want to stick around, we'll answer all your questions the best of my abilities, and we'll do a little Q&A. Let's get into Q&A, huh? Mike's here. Clutch is here. Echo's here. I used to earn a lot on CDC, Crypto.com. I stopped a couple years ago, and they significantly decreased rewards for freezing the debit card. I will tip my hat to Crypto.com for doing that because the reason that's a prudent company that realizes, hey, the yields aren't here, and if we keep doing this, we're going to go under. This was the primary difference between, say, a Crypto.com who knew what they were supposed to do, as opposed to like a Voyager who tried to keep up with Celsius, who they needed a big cash infusion. They went to 3 Arrows Capital, borrowed $640 million, uncollateralized, 3 Arrows Capital, and they went belly up. So, like all those things about yield, like I'll applaud crypto for doing that. Ron Paul, why is September almost always bad? It's a great question. We actually talked about this. This was like a year ago or so. And if you take a look at just the cycles, and there's an old adage, sell in May and go away, right? So what people usually do, especially in traditional equities, is that they'll sell their crypto in May, beginning of May, end of May, somewhere around there. And they kind of go away for summer vacations, summer holidays, summer, as the kids are off, whatever else. And they don't really buy back into October. Some people hang around, but for some reason, they just kind of get into this September groove. Maybe that's a tax reason. Maybe it's something for elections. But historically speaking, equities and crypto, it's just a crappy month. So yeah, we talked about this, gosh, a year ago or so, but it just is what it is. Buy those dips. Mascot's right. It's just that, when we get into a bear market, it's like, and you're going to see this, People are going to say, buy the dip, buy the dip, buy the dip, buy the dip. And then people are going to say, I'm all dipped out because I don't have any more cash left. And the value of tomato coin or whatever keeps going down. And I keep buying it, and it's just not really working for me. The one I could suggest is at least try to do dynamic DCAing. And you got to wait. Which is actually, you're actually spending more. So yeah. Tony Rosas. Do you look the pi cycle top, sir? I've heard of it. I think there's some validity to it. There's this video. There's a link in the description. And it's titled, When I'm going to Sell 80% of All My Crypto. And we talked about the pi cycle top. And there was a great video that Ben did on Into the CRYPTOVERSE, where he took a look at the actual values of pi cycle tops, which is the 111-day moving average crossed over the 350-day moving average. When that happens, you get like a 1.1, 1.2, but the last pi cycle top, it barely hit it. So the question then becomes, once this does happen, if a pi cycle top, like, will it hit this time? Because if you draw the classic line across, you can see that if historically is correct, it won't, but it'll get really close. So the question you have to ask yourself is, do you have to hit that line, that pi cycle top, to go, okay, this is it? Or should you just try to look at a multiple amount of indicators before you start to sell? My personal thesis is you need to take a look at multiple indicators and kind of use those and sell accordingly. Super cycle. Yeah, exactly. I don't believe in those. I just don't. I know people talk about them, and maybe it'll work out this year, but the market is a funny thing. So we'll see. Smash the like. Well, thank you. Brownies at work. Nice. 150K soon. Could be. Jimbo Khan is right. Diminishing returns are a big thing. If you take a look at those ROIs, you'll see that. And there's no comparison from, the halving of 2016 to the all-time high of 2021. I mean, you're looking at 30x, 40x, somewhere around there. And if you take a look at the halving in 2020 to 2021, actually, 2016 to 2017 is like 30, 40x. And the other one is, roughly we're looking at, 7x, 8x. So let's see. Solana bashing. It is what it is. Lots of big YouTubers saying sell. It's not so much the YouTubers saying sell. It's if you look at a YouTuber right now, like as I was coming in and I was on YouTube, I saw Alex Becker say something like, time to sell, stupid, whatever he said. I guarantee if you watch that video, he's not talking about selling right now. I can almost guarantee that he's talking about selling sometime in 2025. Tell me where I'm wrong here. It's just a clickbait way to get people to watch your video. Exactly. First Becker, now you at the dip alarms. Amen. You got to keep people prepared. That's it. And at least mine, I said, I made it very clear, January was on the thumbnail title. And that's exactly what we took a look at. January. No, it's not reasonable. Of course not. Facts. Can I have the Sol ETF, please? Yes. Yeah. Tomato coin could be huge. As long as Fazoli's signs that contract, we should be good. Rob is the most diversified of the YouTubers. Also, you could say Rob would be the person that bought the most S coins in the bear market. One of those is true. Rob said to invest in Salt and Dash, and now I'm down. I always use this term of, like, will it come back? Will things make it? I said, all you got to do is just think of a Salt to Dash, a Dash of Salt, I should say, which is Dash is from 2017. And I just showed you, no matter how much you're really dollar cost averaging, you're not going to get up. It's going to be, you can get up a little bit as far as like appreciation, but it's very, very tough. And then salt, you know, what happened there? Actually, you know what? I'm curious. Maybe I'm wrong. Let's take a look at salt. Salt and vinegar, that's not right. Salt. Salt is ranked 4,365 when it used to be in the top 200. Let's take a look at the max. Yeah. So salt was at one point valued at $17.22. And then if you just like, then this is the problem with like getting into a narrative and going, it's going to do great, it's going to do great. And then you just keep dollar cost averaging. And you can do it, it's fantastic. But, you know, what, 7 years? And you're here, you're not going to make it. Now, the difference between this one and say like XRP, well, XRP had their day in the sun, as well they should have. But that's the opposite. Now let's take a look at Dash. How we doing? Dash. Hey, it's ranked 198. That's pretty good. Let's take a look at Max. Well, I mean, you could. Man, Dash was $1,000 at some point. Dollar cost average could have done pretty well. And at one point it was $450. That's pretty good. If you dollar cost average here, right now you're kind of stuck. You're kind of stuck. So yeah, that's my Dash Assault one. Eric says, do we talk about MicroStrategy being added to QQQ yet? No. But congratulations to MicroStrategy being added to that. Michael So did a fantastic job. There was this interview he did where he talked about how he could just never get ahead because MicroStrategy was a data analytics firm. And I mean, historically speaking, they did great in like the .com era. And after that, pretty flat until roughly 2020 when they added Bitcoin to their balance sheet. And he figured it out. And he figured out the cheat code. And now essentially MicroStrategy is a proxy for Bitcoin. And because of that, they are in the QQQ, which is essentially companies that are in the growth sector, tech sector. And you'll see like, you know, it's the Apple, it's the Microsofts of the world. And they've all been put into that high growth stock or ETF or equity. And with them being added to it, it just gives it more legitimacy. So that's good. That's great. And hopefully they can, well, they probably should. They probably will keep it going up. My question is when is Microsoft going to figure out they should have put Bitcoin on the balance sheet? Echoey. I'm not shilling it. You know, don't worry about if you're shilling or not. Just say it. The only time that people get a grumbling about you're shilling that is when they don't own it. When they own it, they're like, oh, finally, somebody who gets it. So let's see. What? James burnt you on Sol? Did he burn you on Sol because like he bought it from your hands, or what did he do? Or is it just because he's so bullish on it? James likes Solana. What can you do? Thank you, Beaver. I only care. Yes, exactly. What are we doing here? It's like going to a Dolly Parton concert and she doesn't sing Jolene. You're like, what are we doing here? What are we even doing? Come on. I got to make money. Less politics, more wristbands. Well, yeah. Banana hammock coin. Let's see. Sham's got his wrench. Beardy's here, so it must be a good day. Finally off of work. When Speedo. Rob, your take on Lingo? I have no idea what that is. Sam is responsible, not James. So if we're talking about SBF and FTX's collapse, yeah, that was, I mean, you can look at it two ways, you know, FTX brought down Solana to $9, or you can say to yourself, hey, it's a good thing that they brought that down because people could buy it up pretty cheap. Now, of course, looking back retrospectively, it's obvious, right? But nowadays you look at it, you're like, yeah, maybe if you got in like 20, 30, $40, Still feeling pretty good. As I said, I started with 30K in my trading balance. I'm on 10K. What's the best way to recover? Stop trading. Let's see. I'm sorry. Stop trading. Or, well, there's two ways to look at it. My friend Victor, who lives here, is an agent now, real estate agent. He used to do derivatives trading and leverage trading, all that stuff. And he just said that, you know, if you want to be a successful trader, you got to lose your A and just keep going and going and going. He says those are the ones that actually make it. So that's his philosophy. My philosophy is I don't want to deal with that. I'll just invest, sit around for a couple of years and talk to you all. And that's it. But if you want to keep making money, I guess you can keep trading, but good luck. I'm not the channel for that. That's like Smart Money Crypto, and that's like Tom. Qubit sale. There will be no bear market. Value is permanent. Exactly. Up forever. Hmm. 30-year treasury bonds to the moon. We'll see. Doug says, hey, Rob, I saw SafePal was a cold storage for crypto. You know how it compares to Tangem? No idea. And Doug, I got to tell you, man, I have no ambition to find out which one's greater or more awesome or have this feature. I'm just going to stick with Tangem and Ledger until, like, I don't know. If something happens, I'll let you everybody know. But for right now, I just have Ledger and Tangem doing one job and one job only. Make sure that my crypto doesn't get hacked. That's it. If they can do that, which they've done a pretty damn good job so far, I'm going to stick with them. And that's it. Staking would be nice. I do stake in Tangem and a little bit in Ledger, but I'm waiting for ADA. I'm waiting for Tangem to offer ADA staking. Right now, the only thing I stake in Tangem is the Solana. Yeah, Tom Crown. Tom Crown's, if you want to, trading and stuff like that, Tom Crown's your guy. Why ask anything if you can Google it? Actually, Echo, there's another one. Why ask anything if you can Perplexity it? Have you seen Perplexity? Let me show you something. This is the website Perplexity, which I got to tell you, not a great name for a website. Like, how do you spell that? Perplex, PERPLEXITY.ai. Let's ask it a question. Why would Donald Trump institute a Bitcoin strategic reserve? And is it a good idea to impose tariffs? See, with Google, if you Google it, it'll like give you a reference to all these, articles, and you can read those. But this one just gives you the answer, which I got to tell you. Let's see. Trump's potential creation of a strategic reserve is a good way to position the U.S. as a leader in crypto, enhance national security, generate revenue. How's that? Proponents suggest that a strategic reserve could help manage national debt. Interesting. And potentially generate significant revenue through appreciation in Bitcoin's value over time. Makes sense. Stabilize the market, holding a substantial amount of Bitcoin. Could stabilize its price fluctuations, similar to how oil reserves function in the energy market. Interesting. Criticism. Critics argue that government purchase of Bitcoin would primarily benefit existing holders. Absolutely. At taxpayers' expense. What? Look, here's all I got to do. Print $1 trillion, buy $1 trillion worth of Bitcoin. It's very simple. Not because I own a big fat bag of Bitcoin, but I do it for the people. I'm just kidding. It's because I have a big fat bag of Bitcoin. Potentially leading to significant financial losses for the public. Well, if they don't have a long-term strategy, perhaps. Bitcoin's historic volatility raises a question about its reliability as a reserve asset. Critics assert that its lack of stability makes it unsuitable for this purpose. I got to tell you, if America comes in and buys this, China will buy it. Russia will buy it. India will buy it. Every single country, if they can get their grubby hands on it, will buy it. And that means stability because they will not sell it. So I don't know what this is talking about. Hey, it's not so great. And Trump's tariff strategy. So good question, Echo. I encourage everybody to try perplexity.ai. No, they didn't pay me for that. Although they should. They don't need to pay me though. Swede dump cause. More sellers than buyers. I have no idea. On your final video in this cycle, how about a bull pool dive on your last video and emerge in the bear? That's not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea. You grow, I grow. What do me and markets have in common? We are both funny. Only one you can make money from, though. That's very true. Very, very true. I got to tell you, isn't everybody happy? Like, I have a question for everybody. Are you guys happy that you stuck around in the market and bought during the bear like we talked about? And it wasn't just me talking about it. I mean, other people talk about it. But don't you just feel better like doing all these things and making all these sacrifices and just being able to exhale and go, wow, look at that portfolio. It's nice. It feels good, doesn't it? And all you had to do was just stick around. It's like the army. You just put on the right uniform and show up and you get promoted. It's all just great. That's how it all pretty much goes. See? Tom Crown just posted about taking profits. He's right. Same thing every cycle. Yeah. It was clickbait. Yes, exactly. I mean, come on. That's what everybody does. I got to do a better job at that. Making more clickbait stuff. Probably get more people in here. I can say like, I think my next clickbait title will be, this is the last video I do. And then people come in. Yeah, it's the last video I'm going to do till tomorrow. Something like that. Jeff, did you have the pool refinished or a green screen variant? It's all green screen, baby. All green screen. You know it is because everything disappears. That's a good point. Full moon is on Monday. You know what that means? It means short squeezes, liquidations. I don't make the rules. It's just the moon cycles. YouTube is mostly all clickbait. Sell now in September. You know, Steady and everybody, here's a question for everybody. If I just put out a thumbnail of me like this is the thumbnail, and it just says Bitcoin news, I wonder how many people would actually click on that and watch it. Or do you have to be pulled in? I think you have to be pulled in a little bit. Just for Gideos. Don't forget Gideos. Yeah. Internet Computer Protocol. Watch the guys over at Sin City Crypto. They'll tell you all about it. Big bulls. Bob Saget. What happens if Tether is a scam? If Tether is a scam, it's been the longest running scam since the Federal Reserve. Because even when I got into crypto in 2017 and into 2018, I kept hearing that Tether was going to collapse. And it happens, it seems like it's every couple months. So, I mean, it'll collapse, maybe, but it hasn't happened yet. HBAR. Yeah, HBAR. I just bought some of my first HBAR a couple days ago. Missed the boat on that one, but I was watching Mike Maloney's YouTube channel. If you don't know Mike Maloney, he's a big, huge gold and silver guy. But he also realizes the value of digital assets, Bitcoin in particular, and HBAR. And he had a video, this was just yesterday, him and the HBAR Bull, I think his name was. And he was talking about what's going on and how many partnerships they have. I'm like, oh, it sounds pretty good. And I said, I'll just dip into that. And it's kind of like, it's like the Paul Druckenmiller thesis, which is if you're interested in something, buy it because it'll force you to do your research on it. I was like, So I just bought it. I bought a a little bit of it. Now I'm forced to do a deep dive into it. Told you. You're correct, Becker. Listen this morning. Yeah. He said if he pumps Solana, it dumps. And it for the tech. Drift, Ray, Okra. Yeah. I don't know if those are, we're talking about altcoins. VeChain, VeChain is one of those projects that was around as long as I've been, and I never thought it would come back, but they obviously doing some good stuff. Jeremy Matamore, do you think 2025 Web3 gaming takes off? I mean, sure, why not? Web3 gaming, it just, I thought it would take off already, but it's been a slow slog, except for Off the Grid. I've seen that game, and even traditional gamers love it. And tipping my hat to Avalanche for putting that together in the studios. I mean, they're the blockchain part, but yeah, it looks great. I just don't know how big it can be. We'll find out. Ian Bell, stop trading, buy and hold. Yeah. Patience is key. Very true. Totally agree. Inflation returning. Yeah. Yeah, Random. We've seen, I think the PPI numbers came out a little bit, but if inflation's, they don't really have a grasp on it. Well, we've all seen the initial claims jumped up a little bit. So we'll see what also the unemployment rate. I think that it was a slight uptick as well. They're going to cut rates, 99%, which, speaking of which, I was going to save this for tomorrow, but if you just did like my friend Bobby, Ethereum, no, that's not it. This one, they have an option right now on Polymarket, Fed decision in December, yes or no. And you can put in 1,000. I'll just put 100. I'll put 1,000. I think it's like a 90%, 95% chance you can make $40 if we're so inclined. Oh, one more thing. Damn it. We need to give away a book. Okay. I forgot about this. Let's give away a book. So again, in the beginning, we talked about Roger Ver. He essentially is being extradited to the United States, even though he rescinded his U.S. citizenship, I want to say in 2014, because he didn't want to deal with it anymore. And he paid all his taxes. And he told his lawyers, hey, up to 2016, make sure everything's airtight. And they still came after him. That's because the tax law in the United States is the most ridiculous thing you ever tried to understand. So he's going to get extradited, it sounds like. He might face up to 109 years. So we're trying to help the man out because he's done a lot of good things for crypto. 14,000 signatures, 14,069. Hey, another 50 or so. That's good. Let's give this book away. Let me refresh this. I'm just going to pick somebody. All right. Stop. Who's this? Tamio. Great. Tamio, I'm following you, and I will send you a message. And I'll set you up with the free book. And what we're going to do is we're going to give that book away every day until we get those 20,000 petitions signed, or 20,000 signatures. It's okay, meme. Hodl, don't trade. Meme. Snek is the way. Snek is a good one. ADA meme coin. I wonder what landmines are currently laying for Trump. I don't know. New Jersey drones. Who knows what's going on? Shib bottom. I hope so. I got a big fat bag of that. I'd like it to go up. Braves AI is decent. Weak hands. There it is. Get ready for more of that. Thanks, Echo. Clover Nodes is here. Hey, Rob, you ready to get your Earth node started? Yeah. what I'm more ready to do is start to roll out this nationwide sell plan that Mickey wants to do. If you guys don't know, World Mobile, they're already in Nevada. They're already in a couple of different states. I want to say Wyoming because of Charles Hoskinson, but they're going to roll out a nationwide cell phone plan. And just like we talked about all these speculations that we're doing, this doesn't mean a thing unless we actually use crypto for what it's supposed to be for, whatever that is, right? If it's for payments, use it as payments. If it is something for file storage, use it for file storage. If it's for telecommunications, use it for that. So what I'm going to do is as soon as it rolls out, I'm going to switch my plan. I have T-Mobile because in Puerto Rico, that's where everybody uses essentially. I'm going to take it from T-Mobile and switch it over to World Mobile. And what's great about that is that they have a no SIM swapping tech, or because everything is done with them, they don't allow SIM swapping, whether it be a physical SIM card or an eSIM, which if you heard about SIM swaps, it's a big problem. The rates are comparable to a T-Mobile Verizon for unlimited talk, text, and data. And we're going to take a look at, just how good the service is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start it. I'll be the guy. And then I'm going to tell everybody here, I want you to do the exact same thing. If you are in an area where you can use World Mobile, I want you to switch your cell phone carrier. I'll tell you if it sucks or if it's good, and we can go from there. So yeah, Earth nodes, sure. But didn't we sell out of those? I have the node. I'm a node operator. Well, let's see. Air nodes, I'm sorry. That's true. Did Dan jump in the pool at 100K? I did. And there's a link in the description to that video. It's under the, I put under the crypto critical videos. You can watch that. Happy and nervous. Also dumping. Alts dumping, DCA slow lead time. Hey, remember, everybody, as these alts start to go down and you want to start maybe, I don't know, if you want to start reaccumulating, it's up to you. But try to use those wristbands that we've talked about many a time. Let's see here. So these would be the wristbands. And let's say VeChain, for example, which has done pretty well. Right now the wristband is 0.45. As the price, if it starts to decrease for the risk, let's say it goes from 56 cents to 47 cents. Dynamic DCAing, well, DCAing was just the same thing. Every day you buy the same amount, 20 bucks, 20 bucks, 20 bucks. But let's say that from one day to the next, it goes from 0.452 to 0.35. It goes from 56 cents to 44 cents. Dynamic DCAing would say, hey, it's gone down in price. The risk levels have gone down. You should put more money into it. Now, I can't tell you what to do. I'm not a financial advisor, but this is what I do. I just do this dynamic DCAing. And as it starts to go down, you're like, okay, well, this sucks. I mean, if it goes to, 2 cents, then that's something. Oh, 5 cents. Excuse me. 56 cents. So how high could this go? Well, if you take a look at the risk levels, anything above 0.9, I think around 0.9, around that, I can see most of these things doing. So if you're at 5 cents, that's not a bad idea. If you're at 5 cents and it goes up to, God dang it, I hate this, to say 22 cents, that's not bad. Is that a 4X? Speaking of which, let me see something. VeChain. It's ranked 40th? Really? What was the all-time? Jeez. The all-time high was 23 cents, 26 cents. Just something to consider. I don't want to dwell on this too long. But yeah. All right. Alex Pecker says time to sell. Peggy, I'm pretty sure you got to watch the video. I don't think he's talking about today. Yes. Rob's just reminding not to bag hold and don't round trip. I mean, you can do it. It's fun, but it's really hurts when you see all the gains that you could have made. Don't do clickbaits. I don't know, man. It's pretty tempting. I think I'll just go the opposite way. I'll just have my face and I'll just say Bitcoin stuff. And that'll be the title. Oh, speak of the devil. Tom, I was just hyping you up and saying that if you're a trader, you should go watch Tom Crown. So I have nothing for you. Roger Ver in jail? No, but he is facing 109 years in jail. So we just, there's this great, Tom, I don't know if you watch this, but watch on the freerogernow.org, links in the description. If you scroll down, watch this one with Tucker Carlson. I never knew that Roger was in jail beforehand for an online business where he sold a firecracker and they stuck him in federal penitentiary in the Fed for like over, I want to say it was 2 years, 1 or 2 years. Anyhow, watch that video. It's pretty good. And then Charlie Kirk. Yeah, that's good stuff. I don't know about you, but if you renounce your citizenship in 2014, isn't that like a statute of limitations for what the IRS can go back? It doesn't make any sense. But I guess I'm not a lawyer. But yeah, it's a long time for them to go, you know what? We're going to come after you now. Yeah, the guy from Cantor Fitzgerald, who was also Trump's pick for secretary, I forget what position he's going to be in. That was Lutnick. Him and his company, Cantor Fitzgerald, they're going to invest, I think it's up to 5% into Tether itself. So if you don't think this is a good time for crypto, I will tell you. DC in the house. It's actually pretty true. Tether is a scam because the dollar is a scam. But Tom, the dollar is protected by the full faith of the U.S. government. That's what it says on the. Actually, have a $20 bill right here. This note is legal tender for all debts, public and private. Signed by Stephen Mnuchin. That's from the Trump administration. This is an old $20 bill. Interesting. Fascinating stuff. If only clickbait wasn't a necessary evil. Blame human nature. Oh. Bob says, I don't know, Tom. You should watch the CoffeeZilla video on Tether. That would be good. I like CoffeeZilla. Off the Grid is pretty good. It is a good game. Sand of the ocean. That's what we all did in the essentially when we were in the bear market, we were just dollar cost averaging, buying dips and just throwing sand in the ocean. That's what it felt like. Well, you know, when you do that, you get to experience the sunny days, and these are those days. For every one of us, there's 25 that click the bait. That's true. Jared, snooze fest, it is. Some days it is. I'm just here to kill a little time, get some information from everybody. Let's go World Mobile, Variable Depend King. Also minutes, don't forget them. Working with World Mobile token. World Mobile Network browser. Yeah. Does it work in Miami? I don't think yet. Rob, do you own any Bone Shiba Swap? I don't. I don't even know what that is. Sounds very memey. Relax to Rob in the afternoon, snooze to Ben in the evening. I think Ben should give up his YouTube channel and just do audio books so people can drift to sleep. Hey, that was his comment, not mine. Rob, any stealth projects on the horizon you're looking at? Projects waiting to launch? There's a couple, but I can't talk about them here. This isn't the channel. This channel is just for the nuts and bolts and the meat and potatoes of digital assets. Now, Dan DGen, that's where I talk about all the risky stuff. That's a second channel. You can find a link to that. And that's where, like, you've got, usually those videos, you get two options when you invest in there. You're either going to lose everything, 99% chance you're going to lose everything, or there's like a 1% chance it could 100x. It's just how it goes. But actually, we've had a reasonable track record over there for some reason. So not so bad. But that's it for today. Look, everybody, it's come up in an hour. Tom's got to get ready for his live stream. I don't want to take his time too much. That's it for today. So thanks so much, everybody, for stopping by. I appreciate it. If you could just sign that petition for Roger. Hopefully he doesn't face 109 years in jail, and we can go from there. But that's it for this one. Everybody, thank you so much. I appreciate you, and I'll see you on the next one. Adios.